All right, so when you think of global powerhouses, South Korea probably brings K-pop or incredible tech to mind, right? But what if I told you its most revolutionary product is its own government? We're going to break down how Korea quietly, methodically built the #1 digital government in the world. It's a story about thinking way, way ahead. And that forward thinking was put to the test in a huge way during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember when face masks were impossible to find? It could have been total chaos, but instead, the government just opened up its real-time data on where the masks were. And within days, literally days, developers built apps that helped millions of people find them. This wasn't a lucky break. It was the system working exactly as designed. And this isn't just a one-off story. The data absolutely backs it up. According to the OECD's Digital Government Index, which looks at everything from data strategy to how services are designed, Korea is #1. So how on earth did they do it? Well, that's exactly what we're about to unpack. So here's the game plan. We're going to look at how they became a leader. Then we'll jump in a time machine to see how this digital nation was actually built. After that, we'll check out the brain of the whole operation, see what fuels it with data and AI, and then bring it all home to see what this actually means for everyday people. So let's start here. How did Korea really become this digital powerhouse? Well, it's not just about cool apps. It's about a deep, decades-long commitment to treating their digital infrastructure just like any other public utility, as vital as water, roads, or electricity. And here's the thing that's really wild. This didn't just pop up overnight. This is the result of a deliberate step-by-step plan that started more than 50 years ago, way before most of us had even heard of the internet. Let's take a look at the key moments. You can just see the logic here, right? It's like building with Legos. In the 70s, you start with the basic bricks, computerizing tasks. In the 80s, you connect those bricks with a government network. In the 90s, you build super fast highways for everyone to use. And then in 2001, you lay down the master blueprint for the whole thing. And that 2001 act, that was the real game changer. I mean, it was the world's first law of its kind. It wasn't just a suggestion or a policy goal, it was the law. It said, we will go digital, we will share data, we will build services for citizens. Everything that came after stands on the shoulders of this one piece of legislation. Okay, so you've got the long history and a solid legal foundation. But who's actually driving the bus? That brings us to the governance blueprint. You can think of it as the central nervous system, the brain of Korea's entire digital government. See, what makes this work so well is that it's a full team effort. You've got one powerful ministry, MOIS, that's clearly in the driver's seat. They've got the tech experts at NIA backing them up. You've got a committee reporting directly to the president to make sure all the different departments are actually talking to each other. And this is key, every single government agency has its own digital boss, a CIO, making sure the plan is happening on the ground. Of course, a well-designed machine is useless without fuel. And in the 21st century, that fuel is data. And increasingly, artificial intelligence. This is where Korea's strategy goes from just being efficient to being genuinely smart. Korea's approach to data is really a tale of two halves. On one side, they have open data. They just release massive amounts of public data on things like traffic, finance, you name it, for anyone to use. That's how we got those mask apps. But on the other side, they have the My Data initiative, which is all about giving you control over your personal information. You decide who gets to see it and when. So it's this really smart balance between public innovation and personal privacy. And here's just an amazing real-world example of how they put that data to work. They built this award-winning flood safety network. It pulls in live data from over 670 different monitoring spots, uses AI to predict exactly where a flood might happen, and then, this is the genius part, it sends an alert straight to your car's navigation app to automatically reroute you away from danger. That's government not just solving problems, but preventing them before they even happen. But of course, all of this raises a huge question. When a government gets this good at using our data, how does it make sure it doesn't go too far? How do you build and, more importantly, keep the public's trust? Well, they've been incredibly intentional about building guardrails. They started with national AI ethics standards. They created a whole safety institute just to manage AI risks. And there's a new law coming that makes safeguards legally binding, including things like human oversight. They're even mandating watermarks on AI-generated content, so you always know if what you're seeing is real or not. Trust isn't just hoped for, it's designed into the system. So we've covered the history, the strategy, the tech, but let's get down to what really matters. what does all of this actually feel like for the average person just trying to live their life? It all comes down to a simple but revolutionary idea: the once-only principle. The government's view is you should only have to give us your information one time. That's it. If you need a business license, you don't have to resubmit your proof of address for the 10th time. The different agencies just talk to each other securely in the background. Think of all the paperwork and headaches that just disappear. And the scale of this is just massive. Through platforms like Government24, they've rolled up more than 1,500 different government services into one single website. Need to renew your passport, pay a parking ticket, register a car? It's all in one spot right on your phone. So what this really boils down to is a complete change in mindset. It's a shift away from a government that just sits back and waits for you to fill out the right form to a proactive government that actually anticipates what you need, maybe even telling you you're eligible for a benefit you didn't even know about. Now look, the story isn't over. This isn't some perfect digital utopia. Korea still has big challenges ahead. How do you make sure older citizens don't get left behind by all this tech? How do you keep up when technology moves at lightning speed? And they're constantly walking that tightrope between using data for good and protecting privacy. Figuring that out is their next big chapter. And that really leaves all of us with something to think about. Korea gives us a stunning glimpse of what's possible when government gets technology right. But it also forces us to confront one of the biggest questions of our time. As our world gets more and more digital, what's the right balance between a government that is efficient and smart and our own personal right to privacy? That is the puzzle every single one of us is going to have to solve.